Storybook Brawl was nice enough to send me some dust codes, so I'm doing another giveaway. Stick around to the end of the video to find out how you can enter to win. What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we are going to be looking at the 71.15 July 2022 patch notes for Storybook Brawl and breaking down what those changes might mean for the game. The first thing that they are going to present us with is a new cosmetic select feature where currently you cannot select which emotes you play with in a game. That's definitely something that they want to have coming. However, you will be able to select which version of a hero that you have if you've purchased any of the alternate skins for any of the heroes in the game. And I did go and check, at least for Gwen, it does default to the purchased skin. So if you've already purchased a skin and you like playing with that skin, there's nothing that you need to do. However, maybe you've purchased a skin and you want to try out the old Gwen look again, it is possible to switch back, though I don't know why you would ever not use Dragon Mother Gwen there. And then we're also seeing some other small art changes. Baby Root is now going to look like this, Baby Pretty Cute, and Gumblegore is now going to be renamed to Grumblegore, and then they're going to rename it to Boomhilda. So that is something else that you can look out for. We do have a few small card changes in this patch as well. The Chupacabra and Feasting Dragon are both getting a little bit more stats to help them get some early slays. So Chup is going to be just getting +1/+1. It'll turn into an 8/6, and Feasting Dragon getting +1 attack. I think that these units are definitely underplayed, but a lot of fun, and can definitely appreciate a little bit more stats. I think I'm going to be much more into just picking up a Feasting Dragon now with 6 attack. That definitely feels like a lot more. It's 20% more attack. So that can definitely help out and just get the slays going. It means that the second Feasting Dragon that you pick up will potentially be a 7/9 or something. So that seems really cool to me. It's funny because I've already found myself playing Feasting Dragon a little bit more recently. I think that this always happens at the ends of patches and at the beginning of patches, whereas at the end of patches, I tend to be a little bit more greedy because I'm either already mythic or it's the start of a new season, and I'm also pretty familiar with the patch. And then when a new patch comes, if there are some big shakeups, I find that Slay is always something good to fall back on. So I wind up playing Feasting Dragon in kind of both of these scenarios, and I've definitely been playing it a lot more recently, getting a little bit greedy. So I'm excited to see the plus attack on that. Because it is a really sweet card that I think can be scary to try out as well. So excited to see if that is helpful for Feasting Dragon. We're also going to see a change to Dracula's Saber. It's going to go from +2/+1 to just +1/+1, and the text on it is apparently going to be shifted up a little bit as well. But I think that this one is really going to hurt the perspective for Drac Saber. It's still going to be good when you get it insanely early, which is part of the problem with the treasure. How do you balance these treasures that are just so good in the early game and then not really super impressive in the late game? And I think that we're definitely going to see that for Drax now, though I think it will still be fine earlier on. I think like the biggest offender of this is Monkey's Paw, which is the most busted treasure that you can get in the early game, and then in the late game it's like, well, I don't really want to play down a unit. I will if you make me, but I don't really want to play down a unit. But Drac Saber, yeah, switching to +1/+1, it's still gonna work pretty similar with a lot of the same things, though when I read this, my initial thought, I think the most recent time that I used Drac Saber, the attack bonus helped me activate a Lancelot. So I'm like, all right, well, won't be able to do that again. And I'm sure there's going to be other things that it's punishing on. Though, speaking of punishing, one of the weird parts about Draxsaber is that they are always trying to make summons work, and they've made summons a lot more powerful of late, but it's very awkward to have this treasure that is just even better against summons comps, and just in a really punishing way where summons is already not one of the most powerful strategies you can do in the game, and it's like, okay, let's punish those people more. Doesn't totally seem fair. We are also going to see more stats added on to the Fairy Queen's Wand, which could be enough to potentially actually make it a pickup now. Going from +5/+5 to +7/+7, and then also getting that shift up on the text box. Fairy Queen's Wand is typically something that you'll take either in bot lobbies or because you're a new player. I used to take Fairy Queen's Wand when I was a newer player. The +5/+5, it's just so replaceable unless you are like in a very specific comp, which really just means good boys and potentially making some summons, making some use out of it with Bear Stain. But +7/+7, just a little bit more, will make it even more tempting in those scenarios, and potentially good if you're just slaying. It's probably one of the best tier 7 treasures if you're in a slay comp, just to give you that +7/+7, so could certainly do something. And then Pumpkin Comps is the other comp that I think typically appreciates Fairy Queen's Wand, because all of those units are going to get +7/+7. But seems like it could be good. I've always felt like the +100 bonus fairy dust, that's like the fun part of the treasure. If you want to find some bonus fairy dust, then you can leave a comment below that includes the word hero and be entered into my weekly giveaway. Yeah, I've thought that would be an interesting space if they are going to implement NFTs into the game. That would be the one way that I think is fine to do it. Instead of +100 fairy dust, you get an NFT. Who cares? Because that keeps it out of the actual gameplay and just gives you some interesting incentive, and I could see that being a route that they go, despite me thinking still that NFTs do not bring innovation. But, you know, if it said you get $5, winner this game gets $5, sure. I'm not going to frown at that. So we also have a hero change for Snow Angel. Sorry, blanked out there for a second, thinking of how the world is ending. So we have got a little bit of a change to Snow Angel that was removed from the game and became a just really powerful hero on the previous patch. And we're going to see a total rollback of anything to do with buying on Snow Angel, which has been a little bit to do with Snow Angel for a while. Snow Angel is now concerned with leveling up, which makes it play totally different. It means that you're going to want XP on the hero, and you're going to be rewarded for picking up XP on the hero. They do mention that this is a mashup of Snow Angel's original concept and a hero that we've tested for quite some time on the beta, which I think was called Gentle Giant, and I believe that one of my very first Storybook Brawl 99 videos is on that hero. It's within like one of my first 4 Storybook Brawl 99 videos. So check that out if you want to see what Gentle Giant can do before you pick up Snow Angel. I'm sure I'll have some games with the new Snow Angel pretty soon though. And it's a little bit tough to evaluate and to just think of the power of a random good unit on each level. One thing that we could do is we could take a look at the good characters that you can possibly get on each level. So level 3, you're going to get one of these 4 units, and a few of these are quite good. You might want to plan for potentially getting Good Witch or Princess Peep. Those ones are a little bit tricky. Sleeping Princess is going to take a little bit of work. Romeo, not going to be super exciting, but Ogre, Trojan Donkey, Brave Princess especially, and also the White Stag, these 2 are going to be quite a power spike if you can pick them up just totally for free. So I think that that's going to be a nice little jump in power. You're always kind of going to be interested in the questing unit. There's a bunch of good units on tier 4, but if you get something like, I mean, either way, you're going to get a decent amount of stats. The biggest miss is probably Fairy Godmother and Soltak Ancient, with all of the others being reasonable units that you can potentially build around. Heartwood Elder is also kind of a miss, though there are still some synergies that you can use with it, like you can use it to support a Nutcracker or something. And then on level 5, there's only 3 options. So you're gonna get Lancelot or Robin Hood a decent amount of the time, and you're also gonna get Baby Bear 1 out of every 3 games. And all 3 of these are very powerful and definitely have some interesting ways to build around them. And then similarly, there's not many options on tier 4 either. You're either going to get a Green Knight, a bunch of stats, Hercules, a treasure, Good Boy, one of the best endgame units, and Bearstain. It will be tricky on the games where you get a Heartwood Elder, and then you get a Bearstain, and then you get a Good Boy. But the games where you get a Hippocampus into Bearstain or Hippocampus into Baby Bear into Bearstain, that's still going to be great. And then there's going to be other games where you get all trees or you get all questing units. And overall, I mean, it's free cards, so you can't get too upset. And it is going to be a hero that just rewards you for simply purchasing XP, because you're going to spend 4 on XP, and then one turn sooner, you are going to get that tier 4 or tier 5 or tier 6 unit. Well, you'll get them all one turn sooner, and that will definitely help pay for the XP and just make that a much more rewarding purchase. So I do think that this version of Snow Angel is going to be quite good. And one other thing that I did ask the developers, and Rashi says that he believes that this is not the case. When you dream into Snow Angel, he doesn't believe that you should get a character for free. Whether you dream into it when you're the mask or you dream into it on your level 6. I think that it would be nice to see that get changed, considering I like heroes to actually do something when you dream into them. That's not how I would have understood it to work. I thought that when you dreamed into something, you got the level up bonus, though I do trust Rashi over my own memory there, and means that it's probably best to avoid dreaming into Snow Angel. There is going to be a small change to It Was All a Dream this patch. You can skip the hero now, which is really cool. You won't get gold for skipping the hero. It's not like a treasure selection, but it now means that It Was All a Dream does not have risk. It also means that when you have something like Forking Rod and Hat, casting It Was All a Dream is now much more powerful, and that really can't be understated, because when you are looking at your first hero, if you're doing a double dream, you basically have to pick something that just gives you immediate value, something like a Gwen or a Mask or Midas or Morgana, something like that. And now that's not the case. Now you can just pick Trophy Hunter on your first dream, or whatever hero it is that you are actually looking for, and that is pretty sweet. We're also seeing a small change to Cupid. They are rewording what Cupid says, and all that this does is change how Cupid works against Soltak. and Soltak now prevents Cupid, which makes a lot of sense. Soltak is the big tree blocking all the flyers, and now it is going to do a better job at protecting your team. And I think that this is fine. Cupid is such a powerful card that having tech cards for the tech cards, I think, is a fine way to build the game. So that seems fine. I don't think that it really hurts Cupid, though. I mean, obviously makes it worse, but it's still fine, I think, all things considered. And I guess the one thing that is kind of interesting, it says when I attack and damage a character, Soltak doesn't prevent, like, if you have a Soltak in front of a Trojan donkey, we've looked at this recently, and then falling stars happen, the donkey is still considered taking 0 damage, and then will spawn something. So I'm very curious if this actually works or not, but we'll see. I'm sure that they tested this specific interaction and then maybe just hard-coded it, and because there's other weird things that happen with Cupid and Soltak and stuff. I guess, yeah, I have a short on my channel that's all about Cupid and Soltak and how you can actually tie the game. If you have a Soltak that's in front of 2 Cupids, maybe I'll be able to edit this in. If you have a Soltak in front of 2 Cupids, and a Cupid attacks one of your Cupids, I'm using the present tense, but I mean in the past tense, then the Cupids will start attacking each other, and the brawl will just end. And that was like a very silly interaction before that I guess is probably patched out now. It never actually came up in like real games, just in like silly testing things that Isaac and I would put together, but seems fair to me. We are going to see some attack animation speed ups. I know that there's always some naysayers when those things come around, but now it looks like it's going to speed up more gradually and cap at a slower speed. So I think this is actually good for people that like to complain about this. It's bad for me, who didn't care and speeds up my videos anyways, and also wants more time to use Holy Grail. So fair enough, but yeah, I think that this is probably going to feel more comfortable for more players, especially the gradual speed part of it. This is a tough part of the game to balance, though, for sure, and if the devs are open to it, I know that this sounds weird, but I think that animation speed should also be tied slightly to rating. I think that, like, if you're an apprentice or whatever some of the other ratings are called, then the fight should just be slower, so that way you get to understand the game, because the fights might even just need to be slower than the default and have more time on it, if that's something that's possible, if that's something that the devs could potentially do, because I did teach a new player Storybook Brawl recently, and they did not really understand, they couldn't read any of the cards, they didn't understand what was happening in any of the late game fights, which is pretty normal for a new player coming into these games. Though I think one of the best things about Storybook Brawl is and should be the accessibility of everything being understandable, what's happening in the combats. And there's some very complicated cards and treasure interactions that make that very difficult to understand in the later portions of the game. So I would potentially like to see them play around with that too. There's also going to be some more banned treasures. King Midas getting Sky Castle was always such a joke and so terrible, and Loki can now not see some more treasures as well, which is just gonna make Loki a little bit more powerful and is overall a welcome change. Now, one of the things that I think is weird about this is there are there's no just a list of which treasures heroes can't see. Pan Shadow can't see Staff of the Old Toad. Sure, I guess. I've never really thought about it, but I'm not sure that they've ever announced that. There's some weird ones like Beauty can't see Crown Atlas or Corrupted Heartwood, which I think is a programming thing. doesn't really make any sense to me because Crown Atlas seems like it would be really good on Beauty. But some ones like this are certainly awkward. I think that Loki is a different case here because you can't dream off of Loki, so it seems pretty terrible. And King Midas, also, by the time you can dream off of it, you've got no use for a Sky Castle other than like if you hit a Radiant Prism. So I definitely don't mind King Midas losing access to Sky Castle either. It would just be nice to have a list of all of these things somewhere, if anybody's listening, which I don't think they are, but maybe I'll forward some of this feedback to some devs. And then there's some bug fixes as well. I don't think there's anything here that's super crazy, but we'll still take a look at some of them. Fixed an issue with a player's placement in match history not accurately reflecting their placement if there was a mid-shop concession. Who cares? Fixed a bug where if you floated 2 treasures, I never knew about this one, that if you floated 2 treasures, you could gain gold from skipping the second selection. Fixed an issue with the first one of the day not resetting at midnight PST. I did bring that up to the devs and help them figure out that one, so that's nice. And fixed an issue where spells created in hands, such as from Gwen, showed their full cost instead of being cost 0. Yeah, that's just like a visual thing for new players that I could definitely see being helpful. I think that it is pretty straightforward, but there's no reason to not have it appear this way. So yeah, fair enough. Mask Ball would transform characters in your shop that were put there from overflow. Oh, interesting. Okay, I'd never actually come up against that one. One other thing that I brought to the devs' attention that isn't actually in the game, but Court Wizard was a card that was on a previous beta branch that would have Slay upgrade a character in your shop. That worked on Overflow, which I think made it playable because it then made it a combo with Ogre Princess, and it was also quite clearly supposed to be an Ogre to the Ogre Princess, and they were supposed to be a combo, so I feel like those should work, but it wasn't consistent with anything else that was in the game. So definitely a little bit weird of an interaction, and I'm not sure exactly. I mean, it doesn't matter because we don't have Court Monster. It was probably way too underplayed, and the only thing that I found that made it useful was like kind of a bug. So kind of interesting there. Fixed a bug where the gold tooltip displayed the wrong information, sure. Fixed an issue with the system time, boring. Fixed a bug where getting into your upon first getting into your SB99 game, your next opponent wasn't shown on the leaderboard. Okay, that's a cool one. Yeah, you'd always have to scroll a little bit to find them. Fixed a bug where players were not able to play the tutorial and Arrhenius buttons were displayed and unresponsive. Okay, great. This I had never really considered, but Sir Galahad gives you +1/+1 when you see treasures on Krampus's sleigh. That's cool that is now in the game, though it was not before. Fix a bug where a character gotten from Kidnap/Gloves of Thieving had a Radiant Prism all types. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I heard about that, never got to see it myself, but definitely a little bit silly. And one thing that I brought up, I'm curious if, and potentially even still now, though I'm sure it's not the case now that they fixed this bug, but I imagine if that's the case, then replacing Radiant Prism would also have a similar effect, and all of your characters would remain all types. But I'm just imagining nobody ever replaced Radiant Prism, so nobody ever found that bug, because Radiant Prism is too powerful. Fixed a bug where if you had Krampus's sleigh and the opponent had Secret Stash and they lost the brawl, you would not get the option to choose it and the sleigh would sacrifice itself. Yeah, this is especially awkward if your opponent only had Secret Stash. Your Krampus's sleigh would proc and... Or maybe it wouldn't work if they only had Secret Stash. I think it would still destroy the sleigh. So very, very awkward nonetheless, but that's out of the game. We don't have to worry about it. Now it looks like you get to take the secret stash before Krampus's sleigh activates, which is kind of weird why you would need the stash if you're winning with the sleigh, but you can always beat somebody and lose to somebody else. It's definitely possible. Fixed a bug where if you would replace Great Library Card, it would lead to having no more spells in the shop. Did not see or hear about that one, but yeah, that's obviously pretty terrible. I would hate that. And fixed a bug where if you had Sky Castle, you would get Radiant Prism, and you got Radiant Prism as one of your treasures. Your players would not immediately upgrade. So yeah, just a little bug there. We've seen that happen with some other things that are slow on the uptake. But that's going to be it. Pretty quick patch notes. Just a 25-minute or so video here. And that's going to be it for me today. Going to be hopefully playing on the new patch soon and getting content from the new patch rolled out to you guys within the next 2-3 days, I think. And you know what? I think I could even potentially have new patch content, in 2 days. But on Wednesday, I am going to put out a Gwen video because of Wednesday from the previous patch, because I had a good Gwen video yesterday. So I'll probably do that. This video will probably come out on Sunday, and then maybe Monday we'll have one more video from the previous patch. Tuesday, we'll put out a video from the newest patch, and then on Wednesday, we'll feature some more Gwen. And yeah, I guess if you want to take a look at the old Gwen, that's possible now too, thanks to the cosmetic select. But I love Dragon Mother Gwen. I think that she is pretty cool. That is going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace. For my giveaway this week, leave a comment below that includes the word hero. New week, new code word. The reason that I say to include the word, that way I can differentiate between the people just leaving a comment and those that are actually interested in the dust to make sure that it goes to a person that will appreciate it. And there's no limit to how many times you can enter. You can go back and comment on some of my previous videos. I've been uploading daily Storybook Brawl videos for the past 7 or 8 months at this point. So I'm sure there is some sweet content that you have yet to see. And yeah, you can enter multiple times. I will do a new code next week. And the other thing that I wanted to say is that if a bunch of people enter, I will give away more codes. So that's just going to be limited by how many people are entering and how many people are commenting. Let's get this channel to over 1,000. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.